Good day, learners. How are we today? Well, as you all know, my name is Mr. Victor Shemoge, and I'll be guiding you through on today's lessons, which is on understanding relative clauses. Our topic for today is relative clauses and English grammar. Okay, so this topic we're going to be seeing, we're going to be understanding how relative clauses are being used, how it's being done, how it's being made use of in different ways. So now let's see, starting with relative clauses. Okay, so but before we go into details of what relative clause actually means, we would love us to understand that we need to know what clause actually means. Clause on different side, we need to understand what it means. So, what do we understand by the word clause? All right. A clause in English language is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate. All right. It forms part of a sentence or can stand alone as a complete sentence. And looking forward, there are two main types of clauses. We have the independent clause and we have also the dependent clause or the subordinate clause. The independent clause is a complete thought that can stand alone as a sentence. For example, here we have she sings beautifully. All right? She sings beautifully. That is, it's a sentence that stands alone and it passes a proper message, understanding. Then going to a dependent clause, okay? This dependent clause can't stand alone. Yes, they can't stand alone as a sentence because it doesn't express a complete thought. It depends on an independent clause for its meaning. For example, although she sings beautifully, although she sings beautifully. Well, that doesn't really identify itself as an independent clause because it needs a dependent one to stand with it. Now, you will need more information on this to pass a proper meaning of itself. Okay, so moving forward now, let's since having known the meaning of clause, let's go into the details of relative clause. Now, relative clause gives more information about a noun. For example, the girl who is singing is my sister. As you can see in the illustration, in the background there, the girl who is singing is my sister. So there's a relative clause there, which is the girl that is singing is my sister. You're trying to pass an information that has meaning that can be placed in a thoughtful way. Okay? So let's go ahead and see the reasons why we use relative clauses. The reasons for the use of relative clause, well, I don't know. Let's see what are those reasons. Now, we use relative clause to add details to a sentence for a better understanding. Yes, for a better understanding, we use relative clause and also to make the sentences interesting. Now, let's look at an example. I love that book. I love that book. Well, yeah, it actually makes sense, but to make it look sensible the more, you have to put a relative clause that I borrowed from the library. You might be wondering, what kind of book do I love? I love that book, the book I bought, the book in the bookshop, or where. I love that book that I borrowed, okay, from the library. All right, so now moving on, we should know the relative pronouns. Okay, we should also understand that relative pronouns move hand in hand with relative clause. All right, now like you can see on the screen there, we have who, whose, which, and that. So all these things, we use them, they have rules for being used actually in English grammar. We have rules for using them. For instance, we have who, WHO, is used for people as a subject. Yes, the people as a subject. For example, you have the girl who won the race is my friend. You are describing the girl, you're talking about the girl. All right, so that's why we use the pronoun who. Then whose to show what? Possession. Whose is to show possession for people, for animals, or for things. All right. Then there's an example also. This is the boy. Okay. This is the boy whose dog ran away. Now, who owns that dog that ran away? It's the boy, right? So that's to show you possession. Whose dog ran away? It's the boy. It's the boy's dog. Now we have the third one, we have which. Which is used for animals or things, mostly. But some persons do make mistakes by using which for both human beings, animals, and anything. But mind you, we use which, like I said, these pronouns, they have rules. All these words we are using now, they have rules in English. So which, we don't use which to describe humans. We use it for only animals and other things, such as an example here is this is the boy. Oh, sorry. I have a book which is very interesting. I have a book which is very interesting. Which here is giving more details about the book. So we have another one. We have that, which is used for people, animals, or things, more commonly in defining clauses. That is used for people, animals, or things, more commonly in defining clauses. For example, we have the house that we built is very big, or you could say the house that we built is very big. The house that we bought is very big. So we use it to describe people, animals, or things. Only which goes on its own by using for describing anything or any animals. Okay. So moving on, let's see some examples of relative clauses. How relative clauses works in a sentence. All right, we have the dog that is barking is very noisy. The dog that is barking. That, remember we said that is made. We use that for animals or things. So that is barking, the dog that is barking. That is used to describe or to tell us what the dog is doing and what it is. All right. The Samuel 2 here shows she knows the artist who painted this picture. Okay, she knows the artist who. Remember, we say who is used to describe humans. All right, who painted this picture? All right, so that's an example of what we call relative clauses. So now let's do with some practice times on our own. Let's see some practices. Okay, I'm sure you must be excited to see how we can make use of some sentences and how you're going to place your own words. All right, good. Now, number one here, I saw a movie that was really exciting. I saw a movie that was really exciting. Okay, that there is actually the answer. All right. Then number two, the boy dash helped me is kind. The boy dash helped me is kind. The boy, you could say the boy who helped me. You're talking about the boy now. The boy who helped me is kind. Then the next one is this is the pen dash I lost yesterday. This is the pen dash I lost yesterday. What do you think might be the correct answer there? Well, you could say that, you could say which, but this is the pen that is mostly correct in this sentence. That I lost yesterday. Okay, so I want to believe of everything we've learned to make a recap of what we've learned so far on this journey is to understand that relative clauses add details to sentences. As a recap on this, we say relative clauses add details to sentences. They also start with relative pronouns. Okay, they mostly start with relative pronouns, and relative clauses helps us to speak more clearly, to speak and more clearly and interestingly. Yes, they give us more details of what we need to understand in a sentence. So thank you very much and have a great day ahead.